Welcome into another Locked On NFL Insider Report. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens, joined by our Locked On NFL Insider, Isaiah Stanback. Thank you for your sage wisdom, always, of course. And we got to talk a little bit about NFL playoffs. There was a ton of good games last week. This week should be good as well. On Sunday, the later matchup is going to be the Chiefs and Bills, two teams that have played each other a lot. They played each other in the AFC Championship Game last year, played each other this season. What can we expect from this game? The Bills kind of redeemed themselves a little bit, took out their rival, the Patriots, but are they back?
You know what? The Bills are doing a heck of a job. Sean McDermott has these boys absolutely playing. They're playing confident. For anybody who missed the game last week in the first, obviously the wild card game against the New England Patriots, these guys came out and absolutely thrashed Bill Belichick's and New England Patriots. It was a score of 47-17. New England never had an opportunity to even get things rolling. And the Bills feel pretty good coming into this game. Looking upon the history of these two teams, the Bills and the Chiefs this year, they obviously took care of business and beat Kansas City earlier in the season in week 5, beating them at a score of 38-20. And a lot of people are looking back at that game and saying, do the Bills have the upper hand this year? And I'm going to have to sit up here and say not necessarily, because the regular season and the playoffs are two totally separate entities. And if you look back at that earlier matchup in the year, when they played Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes was having a lot of turnovers. I believe that game they had 4 turnovers. They had a total two fumbles, 2 interceptions. And for those that forget, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs had 5 brand new offensive linemen. So he was running around trying to force plays. This is not the same Chiefs team as they saw earlier in the season. This is the playoff Chiefs team. This is Andy Reid's Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes has these guys playing and ready to ball.
Absolutely. I mean, the Chiefs, they go back and forth, but when playoffs come around, they always seem to, turn it up a notch. The Bills, on the other hand, notoriously not that great in the postseason. I mean, we don't want to take it too far back, but they do have some problems when it comes to these do or die playoff games. So what are they going to have to do to go into Kansas City and get a win?
They're going to have to shut down this explosive offense, and I'm not sure how you do it. I don't think that anybody necessarily has in these last few years with Kansas City. When they're playing their best ball, they're completely a terror on this league. If you look at some of their best weapons that they have guys like obviously Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, CEH, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill, Hardman, Pringle. I mean, these guys are literally loaded, and they do a great job of doing a great job of getting these guys the ball in their hands at the line of scrimmage. So you hear so much about their ability to push the ball down the field and Patrick Mahomes' arm strength and Tyreek Hill's speed. But a lot of their plays really come in the form of screen plays and quick little passes, and it really makes things hard for a defense to be able to defend. When you go back to the game last year in the AFC Championship game, I mean, Tyreek Hill went 9 for 172. Oh my goodness. Josh Allen was forced to go ahead and start airing the ball out. He had to throw the ball 48 times simply because the Kansas City Chiefs got up on these guys pretty early. So that's something that Buffalo's going to have to try to prevent, not allow the Kansas City Chiefs to get ahead early. But again, how do you stop that explosive offense?
I mean, the Bills do hang their hat on their defense. They were able to beat the Chiefs earlier this season in Kansas City. So in your eyes, is it really just about the Chiefs kind of playing their own game and not making mistakes if they want to get a win?
I think so. I think obviously they have to be smart with the ball. Again, they want obviously some redemption from earlier in the season, because they are a completely different team and much better off than they were then. They have a lot more continuity on that offensive line. But to your point, Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, has these guys playing. This is the number 1 ranked defense with the least amount of points allowed per game. So these guys know how to play defense as well. You don't hear a lot about their primetime players, but they're captain of their team, Jordan Poyer. He did a great job of rallying these guys up. He gets a lot of turnovers. These guys get a lot of pressure up front, and again, they hold their opponents down to a lesser point average most of the time. So if they can continue that against the Chiefs, I don't know. We'll see. But Leslie Frazier has these guys playing high and with a lot of confidence right now.
Isaiah, I will give you some credit. I know when we were talking about the Chiefs earlier in the season, we were always saying, are they over? What's wrong with Mahomes? Like, are they out of it this year? And you always said they were going to come back around. So I'm going to ask you for your pick, but I think I know where you might be going with it.
Yeah, I honestly think this is going to be a lot closer game than people are expecting. But I do believe that the experience, not only of Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the high caliber offense contributors on this side of the ball, I think that these guys have experience. I think that they have confidence. I think they know where they have been before. There's no question mark whether or not they can make it through these big games. This is really just this is really 2022's AFC Championship game. It's just being played, a couple weeks early. So, I think these guys know exactly who they are. And while Buffalo is hoping and trying to assure themselves that they can go out here and take care of business, Kansas City know that they can. So I'm gonna have to ride with Mr. Andy Reid on this one.
A championship pedigree will get you somewhere. You got to knock off the champs, of course. So we'll see how it goes. But that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On NFL. He's Isaiah. I'm Kainani Stevens. Thank you for joining us.